The free-for-all is sponsored by Hover.com. Domain names made simple. Go to gfq.hover.com and get 10% off your entire purchase. And by Stitcher Radio. Listen on the go via the Stitcher mobile app. For more information, go to stitcher.com/GFQ.
Glad. Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of Behind the Counter, part 2 of tonight's episode. After the introductions, a new introduction, I'm your host Rich Stambolian, and with me as always is Jonathan Adler, the man, the myth, the legend, the mountain that rides.
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's a good day, brother.
I'm the internal warrior, not eternal warrior.
He's taking my... swapping it.
Flipping it. It freaked everybody out in the chat room. All right.
What just happened?
So, all right, everybody that's watching, we had to do another. Andrew didn't like the sound of my voice, and playtime got reduced to 5 minutes ago.
By the way, you guys hit 100 followers on Facebook.
Does that mean we get let out of the house now?
Yes, an extra minute of playtime.
Awesome.
From 5 to 6, huh?
Hopefully it's sunny outside.
Oh. You know, and whenever we're let out, we're constantly building that boat that he wants us to finish up.
The Ark. It's 2 of every squirrels in the neighborhood.
So tiny, though.
That's it.
It's pigeons, squirrels, raccoons, possums, worms. Lots of worms.
A lot of spiders.
We really have, an abundance of earthworms.
All right.
And pill bugs. And Puerto Rican kids.
The indigenous species of Bayside.
That's not true. That's Koreans.
So, all right. So we're here. Chat room, thanks for bearing with us. We appreciate
Thank you so much.
Try to interact a little bit with us. Throw some stuff out there.
Some zingers.
Ask some questions. Make some jokes. Make fun of us. Who cares?
Tough skin.
Yeah, very tough skin. Tough skin like
lots of scar tissue.
Like a coconut. like a big coconut.
I'm more like a cantaloupe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a cantaloupe filled with like ham hocks.
Ham cope.
So
not a very news-worthy week this week.
Wasn't there something halfway interesting that was past our radars?
I don't know.
I'm going to scan this while we banter.
Scan it. Banter. So we have a lot to talk about today. We're going to talk about some Walking Dead. We're going to talk about some comics.
Got to make it for a week.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some weird stuff. We're going to talk about some cool stuff.
Cool stuff.
And we're going to talk about some really morbid stuff. No morbid stuff.
We're going to get really dark.
Yeah.
In the second half hour of this, it's going to be pretty much just talking about the horrors that our bodies endure on a daily basis.
The spoiler, I'm going to give John a tattoo at the end of the episode.
Oh, where?
That's
right here.
That's on your thigh.
Right here. Around my knees.
The worst, please. On the back of your knee.
I want right here. I want between the webbings.
Oh, horrible.
And I want you to put Morlock across my forehead.
Morlock. So let's just jump into it, man.
Do it.
It's something that we've been kind of wanting to talk about the whole week, and I know you got a lot of flack from one of our mutual friends.
But I'm not even give him that.
Huh?
Not even give him that.
No.
Gonna name him.
Well, he one of our friend Bobby, who we time. I hope you're watching, Bobby. So Walking Dead is in its the second half of the second season. They are still in Herschel's farm, and
as Spider-Man pointed out.
As Spider-Man pointed out in this week's issue of Amazing Spider-Man, which is kind of a cool little nod.
Meta.
You know what the funny thing about that is? We'll get to it later, but we'll get to the issue later. But the funny thing about that is that issue must have been written like at least a month ago, or 2 months ago, and Slott was just like, "Hey, they're probably still there, dude."
Relevant, very, very relevant.
Still relevant, which is something a rarity you see in like a published book.
Mm-hmm.
You know, very hard to kind of do that. But like what you were telling me this week is, we talked on Monday. Oh, did you watch Walking Dead? Yeah. What do you think? Great episode. And your thoughts were?
I immediately wanted to talk about Eastbound and Down first.
Yeah.
But
sorry, mammy.
Sorry, mammy. Shit sniffer. The problem is that I feel like I compare the show way too much to the comic, which I know we're never going to get.
Right.
But the problem is that, number one, we've gone from Frank Darabont leaving the show as the showrunner.
Right.
And you've also had this weirdo mid-season break, which is just, I think it really kills the mood of it.
Didn't lead to anything, which is why I'm upset about it, you know.
Well, they had, I mean, the barn thing was cool. Like, the reveal in the barn was a cool little thing, and it was a big moment for Rick's progression of his character. But, no, it is that Walking Dead, I don't watch it or read the comic because of the zombies.
Right.
Sure, it's a great genre, and that's, inherently what brought us here. But the biggest thing is that it's such a deep, awesome, human drama and a great character study of people in the zombie apocalypse. The problem is that doesn't come really across very well in this thing. Now, we're still early in, we're still in the second season, but I demand, especially from a show, a channel like AMC, I demand the highest quality.
Right.
You have very, very cerebral shows like, Mad Men, Breaking Bad. So I demand the same type of quality from something that's Walking Dead, that's built around the idea of a serialized drama.
Right. See, my counterpoint to that is that I think it is a very well-made show, but I feel it could have progressed a little more at this point, Yeah. My big gripe, and you know what, it's all, but I don't want to say politics because it's a stupid cop-out, but it comes down to pleasing people. And the biggest gripe I hear from people who are new to this is the fact that they're like, hey, it's a show about zombies. Where are the zombies? And like you pointed out, I have a gripe with that as a fan, but as soon as you read the first couple of trades, you're like, wait a minute, they're the Walking Dead.
Yeah.
You kind of get that feeling of they're not going to make it. No matter what, there's no way out of this situation. Unless they find some kind of like Valhalla in the mountains or something.
Yeah, well, a great testament to the show is that the zombie portion of the show is some of the best stuff you've ever seen in the genre. And they don't miss a beat with that. Every situation is completely unique. Like we were talking about how when Laurie's car flipped over and the zombie was trying to get through the front glass, and the face was being pulled off. It's cool stuff like the well zombie. There's like really cool stuff with that. But it's another thing is that characters like Andrea, like Dale, are really fascinating, interesting characters.
Right.
You're not even coming close to that depth on the actual show.
Well, you know what? Andrea is not very likable on the show.
Which
is like a big
no
thing.
one likes Andrea. The blonde.
The blonde chick.
Oh, she's awful.
Yeah.
She's very unlikable on the show. Dale's very unlikable.
And Andrea was always likable in the comic.
Yeah, that's true. And they did a really excellent job of making Shane a complete total scumbag.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he's come a long way, and like you definitely get, because of the difference between the comics and the TV show, is that he's sticking around a lot longer than he did, so they have more time to develop his character. But the problem is that I think he's like a cartoon at this point. He's just weird, like shouting monsters. Like, he spends every episode doing the same thing. Rick, you ain't gonna be a leader. You ain't a real leader. And fuck that girl.
And that's it. That's his thing. I mean, I'm gonna try not to spoil this for anybody who has not seen it or anybody who's listening right now. But for those who have read the comic, I will say that I think it's really strange that there was a press release concerning where Shane is the actor is going to be.
Yeah.
And Kirkman is trying to play devil's advocate and say, hey, don't listen to the press, don't listen to the press. But at the same time, I feel like it's half-hearted because he's like, listen, just read the comic, you'll see what happens,
Yeah.
Because what I'm talking about that happens to Shane in the book will more than likely end season 2.
Yeah.
And season 3, they already cast the governor, so they're going to end up in the prison.
Yeah. Well, they also released I think the DVD stuff today, like for the next DVD box set, and they actually gave away the spoiler for what's going to happen at the end of the season.
Okay. Very interesting.
Yeah, but like I also know that the next season, like this is the problem. This is why I don't really harp on this, and this wasn't a really big issue, is because the next season, going to the prison, is such an awesome game changer. There's so many big moments. You get some great new characters. You'll get Michonne. You'll hopefully get Tyrese into this.
Yeah.
Those are characters who you really, you like. Another thing is like, I really don't think the supporting cast is that strong. Like a lot of them are just cannon fodder at this point.
Right.
Like there's going to be a huge massacre by the time this season's over.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they
come off. Like, where's the black guy? Where's what's his name?
Yeah. Well, him and Glenn were in the last episode. I mean, you can't really pay attention to everybody in one episode. But the thing with that is, I agree with you that the supporting cast isn't as strong as it should be, and I really think they paid too much they gave Herschel too much airtime. You know.
Yes.
Although that scene in the bar was really cool.
Yep.
I would have much rather them forward the story, you know, because like I for one really enjoyed season 1. I really liked the CDC thing, even though it was in the book.
Ugh, I
actually enjoyed it because it was kind of something for fans that they didn't see coming, and it was an interesting ending. You know, you had like the big explosive ending.
It gave some sort of hope to CDC because they said in France they almost got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it kind of brought hope, but you also found out that in the book you don't know that if it's very local or if it's
you don't know anything.
You don't know anything in the book.
That's the best part.
Now we know that it's a worldwide
I don't like
epidemic.
That. I don't like adding that extra element in because I like the idea that communication is so insular and like you don't know what's going on there. Right. It's just like how we're in like the storyline we're going in right now.
Right.
You know, in the comic book, you know, you're 94 issues in, and you're still like learning what the hell's going on.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole thing. That's the beauty of the way the book is, because up in 94 issues later, you're getting the feeling of like, wait a minute, there's actual people out there. You know, there's more people out there that have survived like the regular survivors have. You know? And we'll get to that later. We're going to talk about the issues that came out, which is really top notch. Yeah. You know.
See, that kills it for me because like you see like how awesome this book is.
Right.
And like there's no reason for it not to be that quality.
Yeah.
I want that. Like, you know, like Walking Dead is still like the number one book I always pick up.
Right.
On the flip side, if I have competition with Walking Dead, like there's something else I want to watch at that hour, like Luck. A lot of times I'm going to watch Luck instead. So
and catch a rerun.
Yeah.
Or download.
Or DVR or whatever.
Nobody watches reruns.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like, you know, I want more.
Okay.
I want, especially, Kirkman is fully involved in that show. Let's make it like the comic book.
See, that's a fair point because you are a fan, and you know you're an articulated fan as opposed to somebody who's saying like zombies now, in my mouth, everywhere. I want zombies in my head. It's a fine line because you know you have to appease the network, you have to appease the fans. But the sad thing is like I really hope the show keeps going. I also wish that the seasons were a little longer because to get to the point where they are now. You're gonna think like if you read the comic, if you're a fan of the comic, the first couple of trades is nothing compared to where the story goes.
Yeah,
you know, and it's hard not obviously to not start a story at the beginning. It lays a good groundwork, but if other fans are out there like you, do you think we lose that core fan base that's like, listen, I have the comics, I know where this is going, I don't care, I kind of want to see the governor stuff, but that's it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like I think I'm impatient when it comes to this type of stuff because the very first story arc of Walking Dead, you know, pales in comparison to, like, say, the prison storyline. There's a natural progression where, like, Walking Dead gradually gets better and better and better. It's something that really hasn't lost its steam. Like, I love every story more than the other one.
Right.
But I do feel like the prison was, like, that moment in the book where it really, like, everything kind of came together and you saw how dangerous the world was.
It's also a very
bleak.
It's very bleak. It's also a very tough book to pick up monthly because you want so much. And like, there's a lot of cool stuff. Every issue for the past like 20 or so issues has an awesome cliffhanger. You know?
Yeah, it's almost like a staple of that book of having that last page turn to like that one, that one like full page shot. That's always amazing.
Yeah. The really interesting thing about the show compared to the book is like I think I've said this before is that you know Kirkman is pretty high up in the ranking of saying you know what goes where. I think he's doing stuff that he kind of maybe wish he had done, maybe flesh out a little more stuff. That could be a reason why it's taken so long. On the other end, I read a very interesting thing this week that Kirkman pitched Walking Dead to Image, and the hook was that zombies, it's actually aliens that turn people into zombies.
Oh.
And he was like, I have no intention of doing that, but that's how I got my foot in the door printing this book. Otherwise, they wouldn't have done it, you know?
Wow. That would have been so disappointing.
Yeah. I thought, well, because, you know, he touched on that on issue 50.
In 50 when he did the dream sequence.
Yeah.
The colored dream sequence. I mean, that's fun, but I don't know, wow, that would have been a totally different book.
It would have turned into
he would have probably did like a weird crossover with like Invincible or something.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It would have turned into like a Rick Remender book because that's his outside the box thing.
Absolutely,
you know? Which are like and both of those guys are very parallel in terms of like when they got started and like stuff that they're publishing. Both very excellent writers. The other thing about Kirkman too, which is just like as a fan, that I kind of feel bad about is that like everybody's picking up the Walking Dead trades. They're selling like hotcakes. You know, but if you're watching the show, I would strongly suggest to pick up like his other stuff, man. His other stuff is so crazy. You have Invincible, you have Brit, you have
Battle Pope.
Battle Pope. You have what was the Super Dinosaur?
Super Dinosaur is awesome. Marvel team up stuff.
Oh, that Marvel team up stuff is great, man.
Really, and he was on for a while. There's some really, really cool stuff. He did some really. A little search while we speak.
Ultimate X-Men. He did like an interesting arc in Ultimate X-Men.
Yeah, he did.
Which was like severely panned by critics. I think nobody got it. Like,
no one liked it.
Going, because he did like a lot of the B-level dudes. He did like a bunch of Dazzler stuff.
His Guardians of the Globe miniseries was awesome. That just came out.
Yes.
Wolfman was awesome.
Right.
Marvel Comics. What did he do? He did. Marvel Zombies.
Yeah.
Marvel Zombies.
Yeah.
Ultimate X-Men. Irredeemable Ant-Man. Great stuff.
Irredeemable Ant-Man was fantastic.
Destroyer miniseries.
Yes. Destroyer was good. Everything that we just listed is fantastic. If you're a fan of Walking Dead, just pick it up. You'll see where this guy's going, like where this guy's head's at. You know.
Where you head at?
I would love to see him on like a major Marvel book, but this is going to be his bread and butter for the next.
Yeah, dude, he's running that company.
Years, dude. You
yeah.
know? Him and Larson, I'm sure, is like, I totally stepped in it. This is awesome. This is great.
I can still put out Savage Dragon.
I will, and he does. He still puts out Savage Dragon. And like at this point, I think in my head, I'm like, he's going through to like classic X-Men, where like he's just putting out Savage Dragon stuff that's old. You know,
he's reprinting it.
No,
it's like wow, he's a fighting the guy with the chicken head.
So if anybody out there wants to comment on our Walking Dead debacle,
do it.
Go in the chat. Hit us up.
Go crazy.
Hit us up on Facebook.
Curse. Draw pictures of dicks or whatever. All about it.
Facebook.com behind the counter GFQ, right?
Yeah.
Just comment on it and tell us where it is.
And you know what? Check out my Instagram, J.R. Adler. It's my crowning achievement.
Lots of zombie pictures. Don't say it's your crowning achievement.
That's the thing I'm most proud of.
Where's the rest of your life headed, man?
Instagram. People make a living off this thing, man.
Don't make that the peak, man.
Hey, that's it, baby. Plateau at Instagram.
I'm done. One and done.
Let me ask you guys something about this, because where do you see it going with the series, with Walking Dead?
The book, like or the TV show?
The show?
I think they're gonna try to extend it as long as possible.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it's gonna go more to like kind of like a Lost area where they're just gonna keep putting it out.
And we don't know what it is. But in the end, do you think they're gonna explain it?
No, I don't think they're gonna explain it.
No, they should never do that.
I think they're gonna cop out.
No,
I think it's gonna
talk about it.
Honestly, I think it will get maybe like 3 or 4 years down the line, it will probably get canceled.
No, it's going to get a little convoluted with the storyline. And
but that's the thing.
They're going to start writing. They're not going to go based on the book.
No.
They're going to start adding things because the network is going to want it. And then they're going to end up giving some half-ass explanation where they're seeking some island where they know there's refuge.
Don Draper cameo.
No. I'm going to walk out of this room.
Yeah, I don't know. You never know with this stuff.
I never want them to ever go into the origins of the... Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Shit. Yeah, it's an ex-cop and a bunch of like broken human beings.
Yeah.
They shouldn't save the world.
Well, also like the rough thing about it again is you read it month by month and you're chomping at the bit for the next issue. When this is over, you have another year. Until it comes back on TV, and it'll regain that excitement again. Every show on AMC does very well, though. I mean, like it's a good network. I want more episode content.
Yeah.
Like if Battlestar could do 20 episodes a season.
I'm sure they did do that.
They did, and I think one season was actually like 26 or 27 episodes.
I think the second and third season was that way.
And if you can pump out that kind of high quality stuff, I see no reason why another network can't do the same.
Totally.
Do you think they're going to do the same explanation that it's like airborne? They all are carriers of this virus.
They're not going to do that. As long as Kirkman is on board, he's not going to talk about the origins of it.
Ambiguous reveal.
Yeah.
No. But in the book, you find out that even if they die naturally, they come back.
Yeah. Well, that part they go into, but that you just learn through. There's no scientific explanation of it. It's just like we're realizing this is the rules of it, of
whatever this is.
Yeah, there's no real like science. Like there's never a moment when they meet a scientist and he's like, "Here's the science of the zombies."
No, but I mean, it's never ending then.
Yeah,
there's no ending this because
it's the end of the world.
The end of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's I think that's the beauty of it is that bleakness and like there's no way.
There's no rebuilding. There's no nothing because even if you rebuild 30 years later, you find refuge somewhere that doesn't have it.
Right. Exactly.
Someone is eventually going to die, and someone is going to get reanimated.
Yeah. Well, that's what they start chopping people's heads off and like making sure they're brain dead before they bury them.
As far as the book is concerned, I'm kind of waiting, and I have like such a gut feeling about it that it's going to end with some kind of major story, and you're going to flash forward to where Carl's an adult.
Yeah.
And it's going to be like Carl's story.
I do see that happening in the future. I think we actually were talking about that for a while, that the possibility of like Rick biting it and Carl taking over the book because he's become such a bad dude.
He is. He's like a bad 9-year-old, man.
Yeah.
How old is Carl in the book?
He's like 9.
He's like 9 or so. He's a young kid.
Yeah. Guy's been through a lot.
Man.
He's a hard kid. So yeah, there it is. Just comment on our Walking Dead stuff if you want, or not.
Please.
Who cares?
We appreciate it.
But let's jump into more animated stuff here. I'm gonna talk about this for like a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. The new issue of Justice League came out this week. It was
ending the first arc.
Ending the first arc. The first arc was them getting together and fighting Darkseid and the Boom Tube and Cyborg. You can, by my voice, you can see how excited I am by these issues that came out. And you know what? Like it comforts me to know that I think I know where this story came from, which is like Jeff Johns is kind of nod to the Silver Age of mega hokey storytelling. You know, because this is essentially their Silver Age in this new universe. You have Batman going to Apocalypse, saving Superman. You know, they're fighting Darkseid. It's just like it's like the end of like a really obnoxious action movie.
Yeah.
One weird panel is all of a sudden Batman's got his cowl on. Remember last issue he flipped his cowl off and was like, I gotta do this. Yeah. Puts his hands up, gets taken by a parademon, goes to Apocalypse, and he comes out of Apocalypse, new hat.
Yeah. He's like it's like one panel, like no mask and then mask.
What the thing I'd like to talk about is not even the issue itself, but the backup with Pandora. Yeah. Because Pandora is now that they're saying is
she's the time trapper.
Right. She's the key. To why she's one of the keys to why this new universe happened.
She's talking about the stuff that's happening behind the scenes, the stuff that between Flashpoint and where we are now in the New 52.
And in the backup story in this issue, you have her. It's written by Jeff Johns. You have her talking to Phantom Stranger. Well, I love Phantom Stranger. Yeah. And you think because she says, if you don't leave me alone, I will tell everybody who you are. Yeah. And it's Bruce Kent, right? It's if we're still going with that continuity or not.
I don't think so because they're talking about biblical stuff. So and there's a lot of rumors that she is like legitimately Pandora. So she'd have like the Wonder Woman connection.
Right.
I don't know. I'm always weirded out by when they start going to the Phantom Stranger reveal. Like, I love the idea of him being like the offspring of Superman and Wonder Woman from Kingdom Come, but I never liked the idea of him being like an angel or this like godly figure,
like the Spectre.
Yeah. And he deals with that type of stuff, but I don't like when because it's just from the way he was speaking to her, it sounded like they're going into more mythic and biblical stuff with them.
Well, the thing that
but she has guns,
right? She has guns, and there's two things that like we got to get into with this. It's one, I don't know if it's gonna be like it's foreshadowing or what, or if it's just like a weird red herring that he says like I know you're partly responsible for this. Like the universe isn't the way it's supposed to be. You change things a little bit. So Phantom Strange is aware of it. He's probably aware of the relaunch, and he talks to her about it, and she's like, I'm gonna do my own thing, get out of here, and she shoots Phantom Stranger, and he's like, bullets can't hurt me. And then she takes off her hood, and she looks like Sister Zealot from Wildcats. Yeah. Which is kind of a weird thing. Like, I know a lot of people online were talking about that. Yeah. And you made a very good point today where you're saying, like, it's dumb that they're having a lot, like, the Daemonites are... Yeah. It looks like they're going to infest the DC universe, Yeah,
because it's... You know what? They have never done well with the invasion storylines.
Right.
As I said before, DC has some shitty-ass alien characters for the most part.
They do.
And they never really are great, end to a storyline or a big reveal, and definitely not the Daemonites. They're always some of the most boring ass, like brood type characters. I never enjoyed them, and almost every single book they're now like Demonites is gonna have Daemonites as a bad guy.
Yeah,
Superman is fighting the Daemonites.
Hellspawn.
All these. I mean, it's not a cool thing.
Yeah,
not cool.
Yeah, it's like sometimes when you read this stuff, like a lot of the relaunch books are actually really good. You know, like the core titles are very interesting. You know, like Batman's so top notch right now, it's ridiculous. But that's the thing, you have a timeless character like that where even if stuff got relaunched, you don't have to touch it. You don't have to touch anything going on with Aquaman. You don't have to touch anything going on with Green Lantern. You know, or Wonder Woman for the most part. You know, but you'd have to retcon Superman a little bit. You'd have to retcon Flash a little bit too. You know, because Wally's not in the picture anymore, and it's Barry.
Yeah, and also speaking of these relaunch things, we were very excited when they announced the Earth 2 book.
Right.
And now as they're revealing images, I feel like we're not that excited because it seems like it's where we thought it was going to be the a world that the JSA can exist in. Now it just seems like it's the leftovers from Flashpoint.
Right. Yeah.
Which should be terribly disappointing.
The only cool one is the Batman one.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, because he's probably going to be Thomas Wayne.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
It's a good. That was an awesome reveal, and like that was an awesome series. That was the best, by far the best thing to come out of Flashpoint was that 3-issue
only thing
Batman Brian Azzarello miniseries.
A lot of shit
with Eduardo Rizzo. That it was Thomas Wayne as Batman. Bruce died, and Martha was the Joker. So I would like to see more of that stuff. I would like to, it's just like if you're really reading into because this is the flagship book, Justice League. If you're really reading into it, you can kind of see you're going uphill a little bit, and when you reach the top of the hill, you're gonna have the big crisis event that kind of puts everything back to normal. Yeah, you know, and I think the way that they can do that is if you keep the same status quo as far as costumes go and creative teams, and just kind of put DC Universe.
Well, there's not that much to change.
Yeah,
there's just like these pretty glaring changes that they have to make, but aesthetically, just like how Green Lantern kind of fit into everything, Aquaman kind of fit into everything. Superman is relatively unchanged except for
the wacky outfit,
and
his attitude.
Yeah, that's the best thing about it. I think that's the best. Like, I don't think his books are so hot, and it's a shame to say that with Grant Morrison, but they definitely don't compare to the strength of like Batman.
Right.
But I don't know, man.
Well, plus, like the thing with Superman is that he's so iconic, is that deep down that this is not permanent with the costume.
Yeah.
Or like the attitude shift.
Yeah.
If you're gonna get regular apple pie Superman again.
Yeah.
What I think they also they might pick from the same trough is when they finally do decide to do a relaunch, if they do somewhere in the near future, I feel like they're going to do something very much like Infinite Crisis, where these versions of some characters will be lost.
Yeah.
Or they will have to go to another thing, or something's going to happen.
Or combined.
Yeah. Which would be cool, because you know what? Like that, when DC does big stuff like that they put a lot of thought into, it's really cool.
Yeah.
Because they do such a great job of having mega action along with intense storytelling. Like Infinite Crisis is a great example, because there was so much going on in that book, and it was really meaty.
Yeah.
It wasn't just blank panels of people fighting. Like all the stuff that happened in that miniseries had weight to it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's all I got for Justice League.
Good.
But whatever. Looking forward to it. I like the new design of Darkseid.
I do too. I did notice that in this book. He does look really cool. I just think he's a kind of like he's like Doomsday now.
Yeah.
He's like, you'll learn. And that's why I'm doing this. Boom tube.
Yeah. And I guess that's where Cyborg comes into play, where he
great.
He was the key for the boom tube.
Great.
So,
let's move on to Marvel Comics.
Whatever. You want to do the books of the week?
Yeah.
All right.
That wasn't books of the week?
No.
That's right.
That should have been the negative zone.
That was the negative zone.
All right. We'll save these two for right now. Yeah. All right. Moon Knight number 10 came out this week.
Rockin'.
It's over with issue 12.
Shame.
Right? Yeah, it's a huge shame.
What issue is this?
10.
Wow.
2 more issues left.
Shame.
We're picking up on the last issue. Echo dies.
Yeah, man, that's so disappointing.
Yeah.
I really thought they were going to save her.
Mm-hmm. Well, she gets her heart melted.
Yeah, man.
By Count Nefaria.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have Count Nefaria, which is like a crazy B villain. I really wish this book was ongoing, because I'm really into this book.
Yeah, dude. And it's a great team. I mean, it's the Bendis Maliev team. Moon Knight just rocks in this book. Basically he takes down Nefaria by going into complete berserker rage with his fake Wolverine claws. And you got the return of Madame Mask. Count Nefaria's daughter.
Yeah. I always like Madame Mask.
She's awesome, and Bendis always does a great job with them.
Yeah.
When she was reintroduced as the girlfriend of the Hood, they did a great characterization for her.
Well, this is like a bit that confused me because I'm good with Marvel lore, but you are very good with Marvel lore.
I'm all right.
They touched on the fact that she wears the mask because she's scarred. I always thought that she wore the mask because she was so beautiful and she wanted to protect her face. And
there's also a theory that she's just insane out of her mind, like Dr. Doom, where she just may have a slight flaw or no flaw at all. Because even when Hood was talking about it, it's like, take off the mask. It's like, you're okay, you're beautiful. You never know if he's saying like you're beautiful in the sense like, you're unique, or you actually are like untouched or anything like that.
Well,
she's a great design too.
Oh, it's very classic. Yeah. They really haven't done much to change her costume.
Yeah.
But she also got down with Iron Man a few years ago.
Yes.
Where like she actually, I think like it was like when they do like the Iron Man kind of James Bond type stories where he has to be like espionage Tony Stark, and he beds her down and like she's holding the mask up, I think, like in the shadow.
Yeah.
So like he sees her face, and he says like she's completely evil, but she is beautiful.
Yeah.
So I always thought that she's just like completely gorgeous under the mask.
Me too.
And she's insane that she wants to keep her face protected.
Yeah, that's the way I've always thought of her.
But it's such good
Love
stuff.
the rivets. Love the rivets on the mask.
Yeah. So they're doing Echo's autopsy. Madame Mask shows up, breaks in, really bumbling LA cops because they don't know how to deal with superhero stuff.
Yeah, it's all like relatively new ground.
Really, really excellent stuff. Like this book is good enough. I feel like it could have run in tandem with Bendis' Daredevil run. Where you have both coasts with this kind of like neat mystery going on. The big thing is the fact that Moon Knight and Buck Owens had a Ultron head.
Buck Lime.
Buck Owens, the singer, the country singer.
Oh.
Buck Lime had the Ultron head.
Yeah.
So now the Ultron head is back in the possession of Count Nefaria, and that's like a big to do in the Marvel universe.
Which is I'm assuming is going to lead into the Ultron War, which is like Bendis' swan song.
Yeah, for like all his Avengers stuff, which is that was the thing. Yeah,
that was the one piece of news I forgot.
Bendis leaving Avengers and Hickman leaving FF.
Puke in my mouth.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
they've been on forever.
They'll be on forever. They'll be back.
Well, I'm anxious to see what the next projects are.
Yeah.
Like I have no idea what Bendis is going to be on because they're throwing it around that like, the next step for him is to take on X-Men.
Right.
And he's like, nah, man, what I'm doing is like 1,000 times bigger than X-Men.
Power Pack.
Maybe he's doing FF.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty big.
Well, the thing with Bendis is
they're doing a swap. Maybe Hickman's doing Avengers.
That would be kind of cool.
That would be really, really cool.
It would be very nutty. The thing about Bendis, as far as Marvel goes, is that they can give this dude anything, and they can give him Rom Space Knight, and he can write an amazing Rom Space Knight story. Like this dude has the Marvel universe coming out of his pores.
Yes.
Like his characterizations, everything. Like I always say that like I get sick and tired of the banter on occasion, but I really do enjoy the guy's storytelling. Like I really like the stuff he's doing in Avengers. It feels like an awesome Avengers book.
Yeah.
Like both titles, New Avengers and regular Avengers. And there was a nice little nod in I think this week's issue of it may have been regular Avengers where it was it was New Avengers, where they have the second Dark Avengers.
Yeah.
And Hawkeye saying, not Trick Shot. He's saying, like, New Avengers and Avengers, what's the difference? And somebody's like, one of them's got Captain America and the other one doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they've done such a good job with anyone they've kind of thrown into the mix. They've done such an awesome job.
You want to move on to the next one?
Let's do it.
Amazing Spider-Man number 680.
Oh, what a book.
It is
what a book. And it's... I mean, like I was saying today, I'm really gnawing at the bit to see the next big storyline. I really like what they've done with... Well, it's always great to see the relationship between Human Torch and Spidey, but I loved how they've made the Octobots take over the people.
Yes.
And make them into like zombies.
I was I initially not looking forward to this issue, but once I read
Me
it...
Me too. Same way.
Yeah, once I read it, is a bang-up job.
Because the last two were kind of like filler issues.
Yeah, with the time travel, worried about the future kind of stuff. I love Human Torch, Spidey banter.
Yeah.
And in this issue, you have the best their banter has ever been, because it's the return of Johnny Storm, and you have awesome Spider-Man Johnny Storm stuff. Like he's like, oh, I got to go to space now. I got to save J. Jonah Jameson's kid. Where do I go? I got to go to the Baxter Building. He goes to the Baxter Building. He finds Johnny Storm in his underwear, a la Tom Cruise in Risky Business. And instead
Risky
of
Business.
Risky Business, and he's singing Friday.
Yeah.
Rebecca Black's Friday.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man's like, really, dude? And he's like, yeah, it's a good song. He's like, what are you doing right now? He's like, I got like 300 hours of TV to catch up on. And Spider-Man goes down the list saying
he spoils the Super Bowl at the World Series.
Yeah, he's like Dancing with the Stars. He's like, Martinez was dancing. Cardinals beat the Rangers in Game 7. Packers beat the Steelers, and they're still at Herschel's Farm, which is the Walking Dead reference that we were talking about before. And he's like, this is why nobody likes you. Yeah. And, they go, like, Johnny Storm gets into a spaceship. They go into outer space, and, banter. And it's really excellent banter. It's issue 680. If you have not picked up a Spidey comic this in a while, this is a great starting point.
Yeah,
because you'll get some really cool... I feel like cool New York dude back and forth humor.
Yeah.
And
plus, it's an opportune time. You're about to cross into a huge Spider-Man storyline. Like, Spider-Man went from, they just finished up Spider Island not too long ago, and now we're about to head headlong into, like, Sinister Six stuff.
I really can't wait for that stuff, because the big Spidey story coming up is World of the Dead?
The Ends of the Earth.
Ends of the Earth. What was your theory behind that?
My theory is that... Well, Dr. Octopus is dying, and he's basically all of the Sinister Six themselves are a terrible threat. Now they're all like really like, I guess at their best.
Right.
That he's going to be designating parts of the Earth for them to conquer. So like you say, like Sandman would take over like the Middle East because of the desert.
Right.
Type of thing.
It's kind of
powerful, man.
It's powerful. But it's kind of a funny thing. Like, you're made of sand.
It's my idea.
Be the desert.
Be the desert. It's like, oh, great.
Yeah.
Very well appreciated over here.
Will they give Electro
Tokyo?
Manhattan? Or Tokyo. Tokyo's good, too. Who would Mysterio get?
London.
Get Europe.
Sure, yeah. Get Europe.
Mysterio.
I think a Chameleon would get Europe.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why?
Because he's a European.
Chameleon gets Africa.
Why?
Why not?
Rhino would get Africa.
Okay. All right. Good point.
I've thought about this.
Terrible at this, but
my Sinister Six had Kraven.
Right.
I went. Who am I?
Vulture, Kraven, Doc Ock, Electro, Mysterio.
But they're not on the team now.
No.
It's Rhino, Mysterio, Doc Ock,
Sandman,
Electro, Sandman,
Doc Ock.
It's a Doc Ock.
Two Doc Ocks. Whatever.
Rhino, Sandman, Mysterio.
I'm not going to say anything until
Electro,
you figure it out.
Dr. Octopus. Who's the other guy?
I forgot, dude. It's not Vulture.
Frickin'
whatever. They all got amped up.
Amped up.
So it's some really cool stuff, some really cool Spidey stuff. Come check it out. We got a couple of more issues before we get out of here. Do you want to do this first or this first?
Your call, baby.
Yeah. I kind of
talk about 12.
You want to do 12?
Yeah.
All right. So the 12, which is a Marvel miniseries that started eons ago.
Yes.
It finally got picked up again. The last 2 issues?
Relatively close together,
yeah.
2-3 weeks between.
It's a 12-issue miniseries. It's about these forgotten World War II heroes that end up getting trapped under a bunch of rubble in Nazi Germany, and then they get unfrozen in time, and they're kind of being reassimilated into society, or like they're getting put back in, and they really can't adapt. Like all these guys have like weird demons hanging over them,
and they're really like hokey. You're not talking about super powerful dudes, except for a handful of them.
Yeah, and you have the roster's awesome. You have a dude named Phantom Reporter. You got a guy named Rockman, Mastermind Excello, who I love this dude's name, and he shows up in Hulk, as you pointed out to me before, which I completely forgot about. Captain Wonder, Black Widow. They're all kind of like really cool secondary characters. They never really paid. They did each of their stories.
Yeah, what was does Laughing Mask? Big fan of that guy.
Fiery Mask, Mr. E, The Witness, Black Widow, Laughing Mask, Dynamic Man, Electro, and Blue Blade.
Awesome.
Now, all these murders have been happening within the last few issues, and they're kind of wondering why is this going on at the same time of like we're in these places, ambiguously in these places. So the Phantom Reporter, who reports phantomly, kind of puts it together in this issue, and the big mystery was that Electro, the robot, that was on the team was mind controlled by a scientist in World War II.
Yeah.
Now, the scientist's granddaughter, let's see if I get this straight. The scientist's granddaughter is back in the picture.
Right.
And she knows how to control Electro.
Yeah, she's got the control mechanisms.
But the Phantom Reporter is saying that Electro is being controlled by somebody else.
Exactly.
And this issue, you kind of get the reveal of Phantom Reporter putting everybody in one room.
Yeah.
After Electro kills Blue Blade.
It's like that classic, mystery, locker room, laying out the story, laying out the clues, and basically pointing a finger. Awesome.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So walk us through what happened.
So he's going through the whole thing, and he's revisiting because basically they were gassed in this room, and they slept for all through World War II until modern day. So he kind of figured out that someone else was controlling Electro. Electro, because there's another character on the team named Dynamic Man.
Right.
Dynamic Man basically said he was adopted by a scientist and he was gifted with these powers. But he can't really remember his past. What they found out about the scientist was that he was very much, number one, a bigot.
Yep.
Very close-minded, and he was really hated the idea of dirtiness and sex.
Yeah. In general, just the fact of love, connections, and any kind of
human connection.
Anybody,
you just being a regular human being.
He wanted a world ruled by logic.
Yeah. So they kind of revealed that he was built almost like a Vision or any type of other robot. He's a synthetic man. So
or like Hector Hammond.
Yeah,
not Hector Hammond. Jim Hammond.
Jim Hammond. Yeah. So he's pointing the finger. Phantom Reporter's pointing the finger at him. He's like, "Well, that doesn't prove anything." And Dynamic Man's being very defensive. And while this is going on, Dynamic Man pushes him, and Fiery Mask helps up Phantom Reporter and palms him a note. And you don't see what the note says. And while he's talking to him, he's like, "Well, because he hated sex and because he hated all these sins in Earth, that he was going to create the ideal man that's clean."
Right.
So what he does is Fiery Mask on Phantom Reporter's cue, burns his costume off, and it's revealed that, cut to the screen, he's got no dick.
Andrew, throw the other one up there, man.
Look at this guy.
Everybody's
he's built like a Ken doll.
Yeah. So he's that was like the big reveal, and to me that was shocking because it's in a Marvel comic.
Yeah, it's really. I almost wish you didn't tell me that there was any reveal or anything like that, because I was waiting for that moment. And I was like, what could it not really? What could it be that Yeah, this is.
With him, this guy here.
It's
who?
Look at his face.
I can't.
Captain Wonder.
Yeah, look at him.
Yeah, Captain Wonder's like freaking out.
Yeah, a lot of these dudes are. They're not attractive men.
Yeah,
these people are very normal.
Look at keep that picture up. Look at see this. That's how interesting this book is, because they keep it gross with especially with Erskine's art in it. Chris Weston's art. That the dude's got hairy legs.
Yeah. Captain Wonder.
Yeah, Captain Wonder. He's not like the clean shaven.
Well, Laughing Mask is like a gross dude. Like Mr. E is like balding and just. They're all gross.
They're all
weird.
nasty looking characters, except for Black Widow.
And they're all emotionally bankrupt because they're still living through World War II era, so they're just they're not there yet.
Did not adapt like Captain America.
No.
So you have this insane reveal where it's the robot latched onto Dynamic Man's brain, and I personally thought the reveal was going to be it latched onto Hitler's brain, and that's why it hates everything.
Yes. Yeah, that would have been something.
But it wasn't. It was the fact that he latched onto and again. During the Straczynski did such a great job of making you think that Dynamic Man was the ultimate Nazi or a hidden Nazi.
Yeah, you kind of knew something was coming with Dynamic Man out of all of them.
Well, because there was that one issue, and they do the flashback in this where he saves a lady from being mugged, and he immediately attacks a black guy, and she's like, "Wait, that's my husband," and he drops him on the ground and flies away.
Yeah, it was awesome too. They had the. When they had a flashback in this one where he went he's at a gay bar.
Oh yeah,
and dude's just pats him on the ass what is going on here?
Not because he's a homophobe.
Because he's a homophobe, because he's got no dick.
Yeah, he's got no dick. He has no feelings. He's like, what is
this feeling in my butt?
Just complete confusion for everything. And now the insane part is Dynamic Man has been outed. They could have picked a better way to break the news to him.
Yeah, man. We're gonna get all of your peers and friends and family in the same room together and. Not only call you a murderer, but also out you as being having no dick.
Right. But the thing is, he's not even really a murderer. It's not his fault because his synthetic brain was the culprit. His programmed brain, and now he had a Phantom reporter outed him in front of all these dudes. Fiery mask blew this guy's pants off, and everybody's like, "Holy crap, this guy's got a wiener!"
And now he's gonna kill everybody.
Yeah.
Now he's gonna murder everybody.
That was an awesome little panel too, where he was like, "I'm gonna kill you all," but he's still in the same room.
Yeah. And I don't think a lot of these dudes are gonna be. This is basically a bunch of kind of well put together superheroes, bottom level vigilantes versus Superman.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
This guy's gonna kick the shit out of them. And Electro.
Yeah. Right. Electro, who's also like a highly illogical robot.
Yeah.
Very, very, very awesome miniseries. I'm gonna get the hardcover.
It's a shame because this dude doesn't write any good shit anymore.
And this is good stuff.
This is really good stuff.
Yeah, fantastic. When the trade comes out, everybody do yourselves a favor. Pick up the 12 by Marvel Comics. You will not be disappointed. And by that time, you'll probably forget about this reveal with the man with no weens.
No weenie.
So, all right.
No scrubs.
What do we got left?
Got the Deads.
Walking Dead. All right, Walking Dead number 94. This is our final book. This is, I think, tied with the 12 is book of the week, man.
Yeah.
Really cool stuff to bring us up to date, John.
So we are now in the second issue of a overall new storyline where they have encountered a gentleman by the name of Jesus, who is apparently the benevolent leader of a very large community of people outside of the boundaries of where Rick and co have been hanging about. So basically, he's been tied up in a room. Carl, Rick's son, he falls upon him and kind of has a good conversation with him. And he's actually seeming like he's a nice guy. So automatically, just as Rick, we think he's a scumbag and he's trying to kill everybody. So they tie him up and they get the all-star team of Walking Dead characters aside from Glenn. Maggie's there, so she's probably gonna die during the storyline.
Andrea,
Michonne came out, and they get into a van. Carl sneaks on. And they encounter a whole crew of zombies.
Right.
And while Jesus is tied up, this dude karate kicks the shit out of everybody.
Yeah.
All the zombies,
and
fights alongside them, and says to Rick something to the effect of, I could have escaped at any time, and they shows that his hands are now untied.
Yeah.
He's like, I need to know that I trust you, and I know you're a good person. So
because I talked to your kid.
Yeah, I talked to your kid, and your kid's a good kid. And he says, now we're ready to go into whatever the shit we're going to.
What I read out of that is complete and utter eventual betrayal.
See, that's the thing is I really feel like we're supposed to be on the ride, just the same way that what you're saying, and I'm there too. I'm totally committed to this guy being a total scumbag. But I think what's gonna happen is that they're really gonna screw up, and their own paranoia is going to end up killing. They're going to sacrifice Jesus. They're going to crucify this guy.
Do you think so? Do you think that's where it's going to be a big allegory for the Savior?
I just think it's going to be misdirected hate. I think that's what they're going for. I think that he's definitely not the Savior. Right. I just think that he's going to end up being sacrificed by their paranoia.
Well, you have a few more issues. It's 94, so you have
100's going to be huge.
100's going to be it's going to be dynamic, man. And the thing about this is you're so spoiled with Walking Dead because every little line that anybody says, you're kind of hinging on it, saying oh boy, what's gonna happen next, And I think that's what Jesus or Jesus is he knows when he's talking to Rick, and he's like, I know, your boy is cool, and Rick wants that affirmation that his son isn't a psychopath.
Yeah.
So as soon as he said that, Rick completely drops his guard, and he's like, you know what, cool, man, let's go. And he's going to take him into a hellhole of complete and utter sodomy. That's what I think. I think what I was telling you before. Wow. I think he may be. Could he be the governor's brother? Is that a stupid thought? Maybe. Maybe not.
I don't think they're ever. I mean, it'd be a far cry to really reach for that type of story.
Yeah. But I mean, it's a cool thing, and it's something that we were talking about earlier on in the episode, where it was so tight as far as their distance goes on actual land, where now that they're kind of there really is other people out there, and they have a big fence, and they're on a hilltop, so they're safe. Who knows what's going to be up there? Is it going to be paradise? Is it going to be a lot of maniacs? Or
they have looks like they have a pretty large. He's right on about that being a very large community.
Yeah, I
mean, if they're going in there, and they have basically a small army, they have no chance.
Yeah.
As tough as these dudes are, there's no chance.
Right.
Because, just like the governor all over again.
Because you see how tough Jesus is, especially with like the training, and he's killing zombies barehanded with no hands.
Yeah, with no hands.
He's kicking zombies' heads in. He's escaping from traps and everything. Like, who is this guy? I think that should be like the bottom line. What they should be asking next issue, like, who are you, dude?
Yeah.
Like we've been doing this for a couple of years now, and like none of us can kick a zombie's head off.
What issue is this? This is
94.
94. So this is gonna probably be 6 issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to end off at 90.
Well, it starts the next story arc with the next one, I think.
I think it's going to be 6 issues.
Yeah?
Yeah, it'll be 6 issues.
Larger World?
Yeah. I think it's going to end like 98 or so, something like that. If my math is correct.
I think you might be right.
So it's going to lead into something pretty large for 100. I have no idea where this is going.
I don't want to see you're so used to not seeing happiness either.
Yeah, that's where I think that's what the next step is. It's just like showing what the real negative part of negative planning,
right?
Of you really having no hope, how this is going to bleed into your overall emotional state. Because these guys we're constantly breaking down. We can't kill them physically. We're going to kill them mentally.
Right. Yeah. I also think that like Kirkman may have 1 or 2 major zombie attacks before it gets a little hack.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like he'll throw them in at perfect moments. Like the last major one was when Carl got shot in the head.
Yeah.
And he had to essentially cut that lady loose, like literally cut that lady loose, and let her get eaten by zombies. I don't know where this is going. I don't see a lot of zombies in the future of the story.
No.
In the future of this story arc.
Yeah. Well, also they also have to address whatever's going on with the nerd. What's his name?
I could do that for you.
Yeah, that guy.
Oh, the guy who's gonna make crappy bullets.
He's gonna
make
crappy bullets. They have to do that whole part of it. So, and the fact that Glenn is over in the is like the only Glenn and Abraham are the only 2 that are really from the original crew that are back at the homestead.
Well, you also have Abraham's girlfriend kind of talking into his ear, saying like you should be the leader. And
I wonder
and that.
I wonder if there's gonna be an uprising by Abraham while Rick's away.
I think that Jesus is gonna end up killing Abraham.
Ooh.
I think he's gonna see like
Jesus and Abraham.
Yep. I think he's gonna see some dissension, and then that's it.
All biblical.
Pretty interesting stuff. Is Kirkman going the biblical route, or is that another red herring that he's so good at throwing?
Oh my God, Lazarus.
They'll never know. They're gonna meet a dude named Lazarus.
Oh my God, this is so shitty.
It would be. You know what? Like, would you be completely incensed if in the next issue, Jesus introduces you to his disciples? And it's all like
I wouldn't be
like Simon. Peter,
no, I could see that
Matthew,
happening. I could see that. I could see maybe that's where they're going. Maybe they are really fundamentally religious. Maybe they're like religious zealots.
That'd be an interesting. They haven't done that before.
No, they haven't had any religion in the book.
Breakthroughs.
Maybe this is
apart from the priest.
Yeah, maybe this is like a large. What happened to the priest?
He got killed. He got killed, and Michonne was very upset about it.
You think about the other black guy?
Oh yes, yeah. Sorry.
That's racist. Yeah, man. It could be like they go in there and like, oh snap, like this is like a really like David Koresh all over again.
Yeah, that's a really good point, man.
It could be like well, you have to give us your women and all this stuff.
That's very interesting because you know what? Maybe they found that this guy's David Koresh bunker. Like they stumbled onto like the Scientology bunker,
or
like the crazy religious bunker.
Maybe that's what they were beforehand.
Yeah, they lived there forever, and that's it. They already had that community. Breakthroughs, walking at breakthroughs. Buy some comics, everybody.
Buy some comics.
All right, I think we're about ready to wrap it up.
Ooh.
Yeah. All right, thank you once again for tuning in to Behind the Counter. I am your host, Rich and Jon.
I'm the dweller in the darkness.
It's John.
No, it's not. Dweller in the darkness.